Good morning, everybody. I haven't seen you guys in like a month or more. But anyway, so I'm getting ready to have a show this weekend, and I'm trying to bust out a last minute pieces, and I'm getting ready to do some fusing. And I thought, wouldn't it be entertaining to you all to watch a beginner fuser struggle at this? So I thought I'll get out my camera before I have everything set up. So this is my kitchen right now. Yeah, there's like cereal and stuff. Okay. Because I don't have an official like workbench that's flame safe. I work in my kitchen. So I have a pan, and I always put foil on it. We have my pliers that I use strictly for flaming. I have a water cup. You probably shouldn't use plastic, but that's what I'm using, so. And I have a bunch of pieces here that I've been kind of working on. And here's my brick. I can't remember where I got this, but it was only like $5 or $6 where I did. But it's, I'm gonna close my pantry. So this is just a fire brick. It's really lightweight. It's like pumice, man-made pumice or something. But I'm gonna put it over, get my bag off. Because that's attractive. So, I got my torch. But so the first thing you gotta do before you start fusing, well, you can't fuse sterling. You can, but it requires a lot higher of a temperature, and you'll usually want flux, which I don't have. But I want, it's on my list, it's on my to-get list. So what I'm gonna be doing is fine silver, because that fuses like a dream, and everybody fuses fine silver. And the first like 10 times you do it, you're gonna mess up. So just like, take it in, accept it. Hi. Okay, come here. Okay, there. Say hi, everybody. She's waving. Okay. So I have cut a bunch of little round pieces, but I'm gonna adjust my camera and I'm gonna show you how to do it, because you have to cut them flush. That's something that everyone tells you, make sure you do. And as a beginner, you're like, I don't have to do that. And then you learn, yeah, you kind of do. So what I do is, because my flush cutters aren't perfectly flush, after I cut it, I'm rocking back and forth. I just realized the background is moving. After you cut it, I file it so that it is flush. And then you gotta dink around with it to make sure the ends are flush. So I'm gonna show all of that on camera, and then we'll get to fusing. And you guys can see how I get a good one probably 1 out of 5 times. I'm getting better. I know, I'm getting better. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the camera around. Okay, so there's my setup again. I've got 18 gauge fine silver. If you're starting out, you should probably go with 16 gauge. But like I said, I'm one of those people that says, meh, I can do it on my own. So yeah, but 16 gauge, I hear now is easier than 18 gauge, but I started with 18 gauge, and so that's just what we're gonna do. I have an essential oil bottle because it's my mandrel. Y'all can pick anything you want, but this is what I'm doing. All my little, okay. So, this is my end. I got my wire cutters because I want this to be flush, and you can see that that one is pointy. I'm going to use the flush side of my cutters. I'm going to trim just a tiny little bit off of that. And I'm going to save this little crumb and put it in my silver drawer. And now I'm going to make another cut, but this time I'm going to turn the flush side up when I cut. That way these two have their flush sides. Oh, come on. There it goes. Alright, so all of these are going to need to be filed before we torch them, because they all need to be flush. So we got to get our file, and I'm just going to grab one. I open it up like this, and then you're just going to file it like this until it's flat. If you have a jeweler's saw, you could cut all these rings with a jeweler's saw, but I don't. So you can see it's flat. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to bend them back together. This is when you get to play with them, finagle them, so that they're going to push against each other. There. See those two are touching? See, they're not quite the way they should be here. There, that's a good one. I'm going to very, very carefully, because I don't want to mess it up, set it on here. Because I don't want those to split apart. Ah, yay! You can see it came apart a little bit. Yeah, that's better. And now I'm going to go turn off the kitchen lights and turn on the fire. Okay, I went ahead and made a couple more, so I have 3 rings here. I'm going to torch one right after the other, because I find I work smoother when I'm working in a small group. So as my fire, I'm going to turn it on. When we're torching, I'm not sure if you can see it, but my joint is up here, and I have the same thing. I have a joint up here, and then off camera I have another joint there. I always find for me that facing away slightly up to my left is where I like them, but everyone's gonna have their own place. So when we're torching, we're gonna hold it just past the blue tip, I guess, and we're gonna work in a circle until the entire ring glows. You'll see it. That's why I turned off the kitchen light, because I find that I can see the glow better. So it's gonna glow red, and right after it glows red, the whole thing will become molten. It becomes shiny, and that's usually, you want to concentrate the heat. I say usually. Usually after it becomes molten is obviously when it's going to melt and change its form. So when it glows red, before it turns molten, you want to concentrate your heat here. You'll see the whole thing turn molten, and then you want to take it away, because that's when that joint is going to fuse. I'm going to see if I can get it closer for you guys so you can see it when it happens. Okay, so there's the joint. I'm going to be torching it right in front of the camera. I'm going to try not to, melt my camera. But so you guys see if you can see it. I hope you guys can see it on the camera. And then I will inspect it for you guys, and then we'll be working on another one. I'll go ahead and pull that one in closer when the time comes. So now I'm going to turn on my fire. I'm going to put my quench cup over here. Got my pliers, my fire pliers to grab my stuff. All right, here we go. Got my fire. I'm going to inspect it now. I'm going to quench it. Okay. So, it's not too bad. I'm sure all the professionals are laughing at me right now and going, that's terrible, do it over again. But for me, that's not too bad. I'm going to file that a little bit. Oh, come on, my camera doesn't want to focus. I can file that a little bit, and here's the joint. But when I hammer that, it's almost going to be invisible. And I'm going to check the other side and see. As a beginner, I'm proud of this, guys. All right, let's do another one. All right, I've gone ahead and made a few more, but as you can see, that second one that I torched for you guys, I was it heated up too fast and I melted it. And that, I guess it just takes practice to determine, you know, what you're doing. All you fusers, give me tips. You I can't talk professional people, because I'm not a professional as far as fusing. But I did a few more. I think these are pretty good, in my opinion. And these two, I went too fast and it melted. So here's what you can do. You could cut them off both here and make a smaller ring and just try again. Or you could be lazy like me and just cut this in the middle and then melt the ends into balls and use this as a decorative wire. And I can guarantee you that's what I'm gonna do, because I'm done messing with it. I'm just, you know, I'd rather get a full use out of it, I guess. I have more silver to try, which brings me to my next thing. I have a couple more pieces. I'm gonna file these. I have another one over here already on the block. You can see the joint up here in the corner. I'm gonna go ahead and do a few more for you guys, and I will be back to show you the results. Okay, now that one I did not think the joint fused, so I went back to it, and then I saw it separate on those two sides. So that one's gonna be another wasted one. I'm gonna have to cut that one because I don't think that the joint took, and you can see it pulled away because it melted on the ends. So I probably didn't have that one. That one I think did okay. I'm about to quench these and then I will show you. I think that one's probably the best. So I just use my pliers because this is still hot and that brick is hot, guys. Sorry, there's that. And I'm gonna add this over here. I can hear the sizzles. Don't know if you guys can hear them. All right. So here's the one that even I don't know. I'm gonna probably scrap that one because I don't feel safe enough making a piece of jewelry out of that. But like I said, these ones aren't too bad. Once I file them a bit and hammer them, I don't think you're gonna be able to see anything. So these are my good ones. Those are my bad ones. I guess I'm getting better because I have more okay ones. So I'm gonna file them and hammer them, and then we'll see the results. So here I have two pieces done. I've got a shiny smooth one, and then I have a hammered one. I'm going to show you the hammered one real quick because I did that one off camera. But the hammer helps to hide the joint, I'm sure you can see it if you're looking, but the joint is right there on the opposite side. I think it's right here where my thumbnail, or my fingernail is pointing. That's where the joint was. But I was able to smooth it down and then kind of hide it with hammering. I like the texture. And then you can wire wrap with these. You don't have to leave them circles either. It's one of the fun parts. I fuse in a circle shape. I'm sure people fuse in all different shapes. But then you can change the shape depending on, you know, what you're wanting. You can make it a teardrop. Here, I'll show you how to do that. The outside's not too bad now, but that inside, since you can't put a straight file on the inside, because it would just do that, you can get a round file, which I have one somewhere, but it's probably packed away right now. So I'm going to end up hammering this to give it texture to help hide that little blurb right there. So I will hammer this and show you guys. All right, I'm back. This is the finished hammered piece. You can see it really hides that joint in there. And I'll just do my wire wrapping on the inside. So I hope you guys found this informative. I hope you can use it. So I'm not like the best at it, but I think that sometimes that helps. You know, if a beginner is showing a beginner some of the mistakes that they've made, and you know, we don't become perfect at it overnight. It does take practice. And I've been practicing for a few months off and on. I don't try it every day. You know, I do it probably once or twice a month, but I do find that I'm getting better at it. So hopefully you guys will feel adventurous and try it, and see how good you guys can get after some practice. I will say that the learning curve is pretty fast. Like I haven't been doing that long, but I'm already feeling better at it. And any of you professionals out there who for some reason watch me, comment below and let us know any more tips and tricks that you guys maybe have for us. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.